They'll say, I am so angry right now. I'm so excited. I am experiencing anger. We want happiness all the time. Is that really possible? Okay, so you have to be aware. Awareness is the first step towards emotional happiness. The mind is focusing on threats because is designed for survival. I can't continue to carry that pain. I can't continue to carry that burden. Thoughts shape our feelings. Change your thoughts and you begin changing your emotional experience. So that means I'm going to feel now. So that means I'm going to repeat. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Angie, where we have meaningful conversations that help us grow, heal, and become better versions of ourselves. I'm your host, Injideka Nagonye. Better still, you can call me Angie. Today, we are going to be having discussion about a very, very important topic, and that has to do with our emotions. And we're going to be discussing with a powerful book today titled Master Your Emotions. Master Your Emotions. This is the book we're discussing today, and is by Thibaut Meurisse. Thibaut Meurisse, Master Your Emotions. Have you ever felt disappointment, sadness, anger, feeling of depression? Yeah, those are there. Have you ever wished you'd be able to control those emotions so you can be a better person? Have you ever felt that it's okay to just burst out in anger or burst out crying? Or have you ever felt overwhelmed by the feelings of anger, disappointment, sadness, or just feeling depressed? Have you ever wished that you'd be able to control your emotions instead of your emotions controlling you? If that is you, get ready. This conversation is for you, and we'll talk about it. We'll be right back. Thank you. So, as usual, today we're going to be exploring the lessons that I learned from this book. So don't forget, these are my lessons I learned. So you can pick up the book and you can get whatever lessons you get from the book. But I'm going to be sharing with you the lessons I learned from the book, Master Your Emotions by Thibaut Meurisse. It's a very, very beautiful book. So I'm going to start from chapter 1. I'm going to be talking about the different chapters and what I learned from each chapter. So in chapter 1, we talk about understanding emotions. Understanding emotions. The author begins by explaining that emotions are not the enemy. Your emotions are not your enemy. Feelings of emotions are, your emotions are normal. You can get angry, you can cry, you can laugh, you can be joyful. They are not the enemy. So many people try to suppress their emotions or pretend that they don't exist. However, emotions serve as signals. They communicate important information about what is happening within us. Fear may be warning of danger. Anger may reveal that a boundary has been crossed. The problem is not the emotions. The problem is how we respond to them, how we respond to this feeling of anger, how we respond to fear. Okay. So is the response to these emotions that we are going to be talking about. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that they are their emotions. Instead of saying, I am angry, the author is encouraging us to say, I am experiencing anger. Wow, this is new. So instead of saying, I am so angry right now, I'm sorry, you say, I am experiencing anger. Okay. This simple shift reminds us that emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. So however you feel, whatever emotion you feel at a particular time is not a permanent feeling, is a temporary feeling. The feelings of anger, however angry you feel, will fade away. You can be angry about something, you can be angry with someone, but after a while you find out that no matter how angry you feel, after a while you find out that you start calming down and you start cooling off. So it's not a permanent feature, it's temporary. One key lesson from this chapter 1 I got, it says you are not your emotions, you are the observer of your emotions. That's what the chapter 1 of this book is saying, that you are not your emotions, you are the observer of your emotions. Your emotions are not permanent, your emotions are temporary, they are not permanent visitors. Okay, so that's the lesson I got from chapter 1. Okay, so I'm going to chapter 2. Okay, so chapter 2 is saying why negative emotions exist. Most of us spend our lives trying to avoid discomfort. We want happiness all the time. Is that really possible? To want happiness all the time? We are human beings, so we want to remember everything is just perfect. Everything is just, we want to just feel everything is going according to how we have planned it, how we believe it should be. But that's not the way it is. Okay, so but life doesn't work that way. Negative emotions are a natural part of being human. The author explains that emotions such as fear, anxiety, frustration, and disappointment are not signs of weakness. They are part of our emotional guardian system. Without fear, we will take dangerous risk. Of course, if you are not afraid, you just go through life, you just do things without thinking of, oh, what if this thing is going to happen? Okay, so we'll take dangerous risks without fear. Without sadness, we would never process loss. Without guilt, we might never correct our mistakes. And that's very, very valid. Okay. If you do something and you don't feel guilt, something bad, right? And you don't feel guilty about it, you can't process that, oh, I've made a mistake and I'm feeling bad about it. Okay. So guilt is a part of the emotions that we also feel as human beings. Okay. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of these emotions? We should ask, what is this emotion trying to teach me? What is this fear trying to teach me? What is this anger trying to teach me? Okay. So the key lesson from this chapter 2 is every emotion contains a message. Now, there have been times that I've been fearful about handling some projects or about venturing into one thing or the other. And, that has sort of hindered me from doing the things that I really would love to have done at that time. And even sometimes we find out that fear makes us to be stagnant because we are afraid to take the next step. So there are times I was afraid. The time I was afraid to start up a business, right? I was so afraid that because I was wondering if people will come to patronize me, or if people will come, or how people see me if I did that particular business. But I had to talk to myself. I had to push myself. I went forward with even the fear of failing. I went forward, and I must tell you that I succeeded. So fear is a part of it. So fear keeps us stagnant. Guilt also makes us understand that, look, we've done something and we can feel remorse for the thing that we have done. So the key lesson in chapter 2 is that every emotion contains a message. Every emotion contains a message. Now go to chapter 3. The root cause of emotional suffering. This chapter introduces a life-changing concept. Most suffering doesn't come from events themselves. It comes from our interpretation of events. How we interpret those events. Two people can experience the exact same situation and react completely different. Two people can go through the same thing and react in two different ways. Why? Because their beliefs and their perspectives differ. Right? Two people can be in a situation and fear, or something happens and one person reacts positively and one person reacts negatively. Why? Because of their beliefs and their perspective on that event. For example, one person loses a job and sees it as the end. Another sees it as a new beginning. Yes, if something doesn't work the way you want it and you feel, oh, I'm defeated. When another person says, oh, this thing didn't work, it's an opportunity for me to start something else and to begin something new, to start afresh. Oh, it's an opportunity for me to make something better since this one has ended. The interpretation is different. The author teaches us that our thoughts create our emotional experiences. Therefore, if we change our thinking, we can change how we feel. If we change our thinking, we can change how we feel. The key lesson from this chapter 3 is saying that events don't control our emotions. So your interpretation of those events controls that. Okay. So just like the example that was given, if you see the loss of a job as the end of everything, and you go soliloquizing and you sit down and you say, oh, it's finished for me because I've lost this job, then you cannot see yourself getting out of it. But if you see the end of, or the loss of that job, or the end of that job as the beginning to start something new, as an opportunity to start something greater, or as an opportunity to say, okay, this is not the end, this is the beginning of something, then you will find yourself being positive and moving on to the next level. Chapter 4 talks about becoming aware of your thoughts. Many people are unaware of the constant conversation happening inside their minds. Every day, thousands of thoughts pass through our heads. I said before, like our minds are like the engine room. They are the engine room. You know what an engine room is? Because it just keeps processing information, processing things, the thoughts that come through our head. Okay. Some are empowering and others are destructive. Of course, the thoughts that go through your some are, when you keep thinking about negative things occupy your mind space. And when you keep dwelling on negative things, you find out that it affects the way you see life. It affects the way you see people. It affects the way you see events. Okay. And so those are destructive thoughts. But when you focus on empowering thoughts, you focus on good things, you focus on things that will make you feel better, you find out that it also affects your surrounding and it affects the environment with which you living. The author encourages readers to observe their thoughts without judgment. The author wants us to observe our thoughts without any form of judgment whatsoever. Ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Is this thought helping me? Is this thought true? Most of the times the things we are thinking about, is it helping us? Is it helping us? Right? When we become aware of our thoughts, we stop being controlled by them. Awareness is the first step toward emotional freedom. Okay, you cannot change what you do not notice. That's one lesson I learned. You cannot change what you do not notice. Okay, so you have to be aware. Awareness is the first step towards emotional freedom. You have to be aware of the thoughts that you are thinking in your head. You have to be aware of whatever it is so that your thoughts don't control you. We'll move on to chapter 5. How negative thinking creates negative emotions. Negative emotions often originate from repetitive negative thinking. Like I said, the mind is an engine room, okay? So you keep thinking about negative things, okay? So you start having negative emotions around you. Examples include overthinking, assuming the worst, comparing yourselves to others. Okay, you can't be comparing yourself to others. Have you thought about maybe you've written an exam, okay, and maybe to the best of your knowledge you felt you didn't do well. You started overthinking. Maybe I should have answered this question instead of that question. Maybe I should have added this to that and everything. You start thinking, I have really messed up. I didn't do it the way I'm supposed to have done it. Okay, you start overthinking and you start thinking and thinking and thinking. Then you start assuming the worst. Okay, so that means I'm going to fail now. So that means I'm going to repeat. That means I won't get this bid that I'm bidding for because of the way I did it or the way I said it, that I may have said it the wrong way. So those are negative thoughts. And when you keep having it repeating in your head, it starts surrounding, making your environment the way it is. Now, the author is explaining that the mind naturally focuses on threats because it is designed for survival. The mind is focusing on threats because it is designed for survival. However, in modern life, this survival mechanism can create unnecessary stress. The more attention we give negative thoughts, the stronger they become. The solution is not to fight them. The solution is to redirect our attention. Wow. Redirect your attention. It means take your mind off negative things. It means take your mind off things that make you stressed, because when you keep overthinking, you become stressed. Worry has never solved anything. Worry, no matter how much you think about something from now to tomorrow, it doesn't solve it. Right? So when you keep worrying, you are thinking about the worst case scenario, the worst possible thing it doesn't change it. Okay, so just think about the positive. Okay, think about the positive. The key lesson I learned from chapter 5 is that where attention goes, emotion grows. Wow, where attention grows, emotion grows. What you focus on, that's where your emotion grows. When you focus on positivity, your emotion around positivity grows. When you focus on things that make you feel better, when you focus on things that make you grow, when you focus on things that make you heal, when you focus on things that make you rise, you find that that's what your environment will be surrounded by. But by the time you think about negative, that's the same thing. So where you focus your emotion, that's where it grows. Don't forget, where attention goes, emotion rises and grows. Chapter 6. Letting go of emotional baggage. This is very, 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 very important. Many people carry emotional wounds from years ago, past failures, broken relationships, rejections, betrayals. So we should not hold on to resentment and regret because they drain emotional energy. When you keep focusing on resentment and regret, it drains your emotional energy. We are carrying baggages of things that have happened to us, it's will I say it's kind of normal because we are human beings. So we think about things that have happened to us. The mind keeps playing about those who have betrayed us, the past, the failures of the things that we have done, the mistakes that we have made, people who have looked up to us that we have disappointed. So rejections that we have received from people, from wanting to go somewhere and we have been rejected. So all those are things those are baggages, and they drain our emotional energy. They drain us. Okay, by the time you keep thinking about them, forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior. Forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of carrying pain. When you forgive somebody, you are not weak. When you forgive somebody, you are strong. It means that you have the emotional strength to let go. It means that you don't want to carry that burden. You don't want to carry that pain of unforgiveness. When you think about the person or when you see the person, your mind is clogged. But when you forgive, it takes away that emotion. It takes away that burden. It takes away that stress. It takes away that emotional baggage. When we refuse to let go, we keep relieving the hurt. Anytime you think about it, the hurt comes back again. Sometimes the hurt, by the time you keep thinking about it, you even add things that were not there before. You start adding things. What if this one had happened? What if this one? You start adding things that you're supposed to have forgot. Even when the things have happened in the past, you keep magnifying it by thinking about it, so it keeps growing and it keeps living rent free in your head, and that is something that will hold us back. See, healing begins when we choose release over resentment. We need to heal. We need to heal. Let's stop carrying emotional baggage of whatever it is that has happened to us. We need to heal. When we heal, we are choosing release over resentment. We release whatever it is, whatever ache, whatever it is that we are feeling. Understand that as when I read this book, it resonated with me in so many areas. There were things that I was holding on to. There was unforgiveness that I was holding on to and everything. But yes, each time I say I have forgiven, but sometimes it comes back again. And so when reading this book made me understand that, look, I can't continue to carry that pain. I can't continue to carry that burden. Okay. I can't continue to carry that burden. So I had to let go. Okay. So I'm sharing with you also. Healing comes when you decide to release whatever pain there is. It could be hard. It is hard, but it is possible. It is very, very possible. You cannot move forward while dragging yesterday's pain behind you. That's one key lesson I learned from chapter 6. You cannot move forward while dragging yesterday's pain behind you. Let it go. Release it. And you'll feel better and you'll feel freer. Okay, I promise you that. It may hurt, but you will feel better. I promise you that. Chapter 7, accepting reality. One major source of suffering is resistance. We fight reality. We wish things were different. We replay events we cannot change. So Thibaut is talking about the power of acceptance. We need to accept whatever it is that we are facing with. There's some things that we cannot change. So when we cannot change those things, we have to accept it and accept that this is what it is. Okay. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means acknowledging reality as it is. Only when we accept reality can we begin changing it. Imagine trying to solve a problem while denying it exists. Acceptance is the doorway to transformation. Key lesson: what you resist persists. What you resist persists. So if you keep resisting change, if you keep resisting healing, if you keep resisting the need to want to go forward, you'll still be stuck where you are. Okay, so acceptance is the doorway to transformation. Accept whatever it is that you cannot change. Accept whatever it is that has happened. Oh, it has happened. It is what it is, as they say. It is what it is. So it has already happened, and that's the way it is. So you have to accept it. That's one way to also move forward. Chapter 8 talks about building emotional resilience. Resilience is the ability to recover from difficulties. Life will always contain setbacks. Nobody escapes disappointment. Nobody avoids pain completely. The difference between emotionally strong people and emotionally weak people is not the absence of problem. It is their response to problems. So they say the difference between emotionally weak people and strong people is their response to it. Okay. So everybody goes through pain. Everybody goes through disappointment. Every life contains setbacks, but how you get through it is how you respond to such scenarios that play out in your life. Resilient people adapt quickly. They learn from their mistakes. They focus on solutions. They keep moving forward. Every challenge can either break you or build you. Whatever challenges you face, it can either break you or it will build you. So your response to whatever it is what affects the environment around you. Okay. So one lesson I learned, well, the key lesson I learned from this chapter 8 is difficulties are opportunities to develop emotional strength. Difficulties are opportunities to develop emotional strength. When you go through stuff, however difficult it is, eventually you will come out of it, and then you have learned a very great lesson from it. Eventually you will get out of it. It will not last forever. The pain will not last forever. The betrayal will not last forever. The pain of the betrayal will not last forever. The pain of whatever it is that you're going through will not last forever. The pain of the rejection, the pain of the past mistakes, the opportunities that you have missed, they will not last forever. It will pass. It will pass and you start feeling better. Okay, so there's an opportunity to develop and build emotional strength. Now, chapter 9 talks about taking responsibility for your emotions. Remember, you must acknowledge that you have these emotions. You must accept these emotions. You must understand that your emotions don't control you. Okay, but you can master and control these emotions. So now, chapter 9 is talking about taking responsibility for your emotions. So one of this is one of the most empowering chapters in this book. Okay, taking responsibility. Many people they can blame their spouses, their boss, their parents, their circumstances for whatever it is or whatever emotions that they are feeling. Okay. But Thibaut is saying that true freedom begins when we stop giving others control over our emotions. Yes, you can be angry. Oh, my spouse made me angry. Oh, my boss offended me. Oh, the circumstances of life made me like this. Okay. So by the time you start taking responsibility, you stop giving, your true freedom begins when we stop giving others control over our emotions. No one can control your emotional state without your participation. Right. That's true. When we take responsibility for our reactions, we reclaim our power. You take responsibility. Oh, this is how I feel and I can do better. I can go past this emotion. We reclaim our power. My key lesson I learned is responsibility creates freedom. Responsibility creates freedom. I think responsibility also has to do with accountability. Most times, when you have done something and somebody is trying to tell you, this is what you have done, rather than pushing it aside or blaming a circumstance or blaming a situation, take accountability. Say, yes, oh, I have done this. This is my fault. This is what I did. You take responsibility for that emotion. You take responsibility for that act. And then you reclaim your power rather than brushing it aside or pushing it on circumstances or people to avoid taking responsibility. Chapter 10, creating better emotional habits. Emotions are influenced by our daily habits. So Thibaut is saying that emotions of gratitude. Grateful people tend to experience greater happiness. People that are grateful when they wake up in the morning, oh, I'm thankful I'm alive today. It's already setting a positive tone for the day. I'm grateful I'm alive today. I'm grateful I can walk with my 2 legs. I'm grateful I can stand on my feet. I'm grateful I can move my hands. I'm grateful my eyes can see. I'm grateful I can breathe with my nose. I'm grateful I can speak with my voice. Okay. So all this gratitude. Okay. Grateful people tend to experience greater happiness. So when you start your day with gratitude, already you have set a precedent for that day, and that day would, generally be great for you. Exercise. Physical movement improves emotional well-being. So these are better emotional habits. You can exercise, walking, doing exercise gives you a feeling of fulfillment, gives you a feeling of joy. You know you are doing something that's makes you feel happy. Okay, it improves your well-being. Sleep. Lack of sleep increases the emotional instability. Many people don't sleep well. Many people say, oh, I sleep for only 4 hours, I sleep for only 5 hours and everything. But when you sleep properly, you find out that emotionally, when you wake up, you are more relaxed. Okay, and you are set out for the day. Meditation, quiet reflection helps calm the mind, whatever way you reflect. Growing up, we had something called quiet time, which I still try to experience and practice daily. Quiet time. You wake up in the morning, you have a quiet time. In that quiet time, you speak to God. In that quiet time, you study. It doesn't have to be for a very long period of time. In that quiet time, you journal, So those are the times that you reflect, for the day. So meditation, it quietens your mind. That's the time you just quieten yourself and just reflect on some of the things, or maybe the things that happened the day before, or the things that you want to do. So if you, I've learned that journaling, is really, really nice. I take my book, thoughts that come to my head, I journal, I write them. I write the thoughts that come to my head. I write about the things I want to do, and if I find that it helps me, and I put a date on it. So it's like a personal diary. It's not a diary, but it's a journal on just, my thoughts and the things I need to do, and the things that, when I'm meditating, the things that drop in my spirit. Positive relationships. The people around us influence our emotional health. We can't overemphasize that. Yes, you surround yourself with people who speak positive, people who are joyful, people who are happy, people who always want to see the best in you, people who want to see you grow. Definitely, it will affect you. It will affect you. If you are surrounded by people who are negative or who want to try and bring you down, you find that such things also affect you and affect your environment. So small daily habits produce significant emotional improvements over time. So if you start these habits little, you start exercising, you start meditating, you start sleeping better, you start experiencing gratitude, right? So these habits, if you start them on a daily basis, you find that it grows, and over time it becomes a habit. So these are little habits. So if you are lacking in any of these ones, just start little by little, and then it becomes a part of your lifestyle. Okay. So my final lesson, this book is very powerful. It had 10 chapters. Like you saw, I summarized 10 chapters and the lessons I learned from the 10 chapters. My final lessons of this book. Okay. So Thibaut concludes that emotions are temporary. Though, I mean, no emotion lasts forever. Storms pass. Pain fades. Difficult seasons end. No matter how difficult it is, it will end. As I said before. So emotions are temporary. These are beautiful lessons. Okay. Thoughts shape our feelings. Change your thoughts and you begin changing your emotional experience. Acceptance creates peace. Fighting reality creates suffering. Accepting reality brings clarity. So accept these things that have happened. It is what it is. Accept it. Okay. Responsibility creates power. You may not control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond to such things. Okay. Emotional mastery leads to freedom. The goal is not to eliminate emotions. The goal is to understand, manage, and learn from them. Okay, so as we conclude today's conversation, let's remember that mastering your emotion doesn't mean you become emotionless, right? It doesn't mean you become emotionless. It means becoming emotionally intelligent. That's what we're trying to learn. You become emotionally intelligent. That's why you're mastering your emotions, okay? It means understanding what you feel, why you feel, how you feel it, and choosing how to respond wisely. Your emotions are valuable messengers, but they should never become your masters. Please, I would encourage you to get this book by Thibaut. All right, master your emotions. As we come to the end of today's conversation, I hope you learned one or two things. I hope it really helped you. I hope it blessed you. I hope it made you feel and understand your emotions better. Till I come your way with another powerful book. This is Conversations with NJ, and this is me, your host, NJ, signing out. God bless you. Bye.